Howdy friendos, before we begin, I just want to give a huge last thank you to everyone that watched our D&D December videos, and another huge thank you to everyone who helped back Nat 19's Setting Guide to Redia. As of this writing, they have successfully raised over 155,000 Canadian dollars, which is just shy of 120,000 in real money. I'm also happy to announce that the Loading Crew community is the top contributor in D&D influencers, and that petty competitive part of me really wants to keep that up top. If you guys have any interest in anime-style campaigns, Fate Stay Night, or if you just like the writing of this abridged series, I highly suggest using my affiliate link below and supporting the setting guide. You really are getting a fantastic deal with this book. And as just a reminder, we are not sponsored, we are not partnered, I just really like to see it when other independent groups succeed, and I think Logan and his team deserve all the success that they're actually seeing. Thank you again for supporting the channel, supporting Nat19, and I hope you all have a Merry Rinmas and a happy Nasaverse year. And now, onto the video. So I'm going to start this video by oversharing a bit. I actually read the Fate Stay Night visual novel back in high school, which is 2006. At the time, I was 16, and one thing that you should know that Japanese visual novels tend to have a lot of adult content. I was unaware of this. You have to realize that back in 2006, the anime scene was just starting to pop off in America, and we really haven't gotten visual novels before. We didn't have Doki Doki Literature Club or Kawa Shoujo to introduce the concept to us, so we didn't know. Most weebs' understanding at the time was just, oh, this is the original Fate Stay Night story. And we had to go out of our way to find and download fan translations. Oh, and that was a pain too. You had to do this whole thing where you spoof your computer and make your settings as if you were from Japan, and you had to get real familiar and real comfortable real quick with putting a lot of applications on your PC that you had no idea where they come from. And yeah, when we say support the official release, that is because we don't ever want to go through this again. It was annoying to get into Fate back in 2006. Kids these days don't understand how hard it was to get into it. Nowadays, you can watch a 6-hour video essay or 3 videos from Gigguk and pretty much get the concept. Anyway, I tell you that story to tell you this. I have been dating my wife since we were both age 12, and we've been together for a very, very long time. And despite that, in 2006, I honest to God thought I was asexual, even though back then we didn't really have that word for that at the time. And I really hadn't been interested in that sort of stuff physically. But then I played the Fate Stay Night visual novel and got to the scene where Rin Tosaka is desperately trying to get Shiro and Saber turned on enough to do the mana transfer ritual. And I went, huh, so that's what was missing. 2 of them. Howdy friendos, and Merry Rinmas. My name is Stuart, and yes, you can blame the degeneracy that is Stuart Jones on Rin Tosaka, who coincidentally is the character we are covering today. If you've missed the last 3 videos, we've been taking a look at Season 1 of Project Mouthwash's Unlimited Blade Works Abridged series. We've already taken a look at Archer, Baber, and Shiro, and now we're going to take a look at a character that obviously means a lot to me. Rin is the head of the Tosaka household, who were one of the 3 mage families that participated in the Holy Grail Wars. In 2004, Rin represents her house as the sole survivor of her family. She is a talented and determined girl who seeks to honor them by winning the 5th Holy Grail War, despite the fact that she really doesn't have a wish. Tosaka begins the series as a hard-working, well-meaning, and has a bit of a chip on her shoulder, which is understandable considering her responsibilities as being one of the main contestants in an extremely dangerous game. She begins the series by attempting to summon Saber, but accidentally summons Archer instead. In the Abridged series, she seems to genuinely believe that she summoned actual Satan, and goes so far as to waste a command seal on him to prevent him from taking her soul. All of these traits would lead most people, and CBR.com apparently, to believe that she's chaotic good, and I really don't think so. Despite some of the interesting dialogue options that Project Mouthwash gave Rin in the first and 0 episode, she is actually very kind, very soft, and very unwilling to let others be hurt by the Holy Grail War, even though she is encouraged on multiple occasions to let normies die. She also tries really hard to play the tough, cool, lawful neutral character, but in reality, she's definitely a neutral good kind of person, despite the fact that she's a well-documented tsundere. Also, I'm Pathfinder trash, and I like to see that master and servants be within 1 alignment step of each other, and I actually think that Archer being neutral and her being neutral good just kind of makes sense. Her being chaotic good and Archer being neutral just makes less to me. Let me know if you think she should have started in chaotic good in the comments. It's been years since I read the original visual novel, and despite the fact that we are looking at the abridged series and not the original content, Logan and his team tend to make that their top priority when writing for these characters, so I do think it's appropriate. But with all that out of the way, let's go.
I figured it out! You're actually Satan!
That's uncalled for.
actually Satan by the power of my command seal.
That's uncalled for!
I command you to not attempt to condemn my soul into the fiery pits
Are
of
you
hell.
insane? Do you have any idea how valuable those are?
I just want to stand over the corpses of 6 fallen heroes drinking ginger ale from a goblet touched by the blood of Christ. Teenage girl stuff.
Instead of going to school, Rin attempts to summon Saber and instead summons Archer. Fully confident in herself and refusing to listen to her servant that she just summoned, she wastes a command seal on actual Satan and then orders him to clean up her house. They finally agree to a partnership and head to school. There they are jumped by Lancer, and despite actual Satan's warnings, Rin refuses to run. Fortunately, a human shield appears named Shiro and is killed off by Lancer as he adheres to the no witnesses rule of the Holy Grail War. Realizing who was just killed, Rin uses her jewel that had 10 years of mana stored in it to resurrect him. She leaves annoyed but with a clear conscience. Chaotic Neutral for being a bit of an overexcited idiot at the beginning of episode 0, and Lawful Good for resurrecting someone she didn't have to.
I'm at my wit's end. Negotiations are going nowhere.
These were negotiations? I thought we were just having a talk.
Unfortunately, this decision almost had been rendered moot since Archer informed her that Lancer would have gone to finish off the job anyway. Rin runs off to go and protect Shiro from Lancer, but due to circumstances she couldn't possibly have predicted, he had already summoned Saber as his servant. Saber attacks the two of them, but Shiro uses the command seal to stop her. As a bit of a thank you, Rin catches Shiro up on the Holy Grail War and purposely misleads him into thinking that the prize is a worthless cup and to give Saber to her, because she's being a creep this season. Shiro demands a second opinion, and Rin leaves him to Kodamine, the priest who is something of a referee in this war. Unfortunately for Rin, Shiro decides to compete once he learns that the Grail grants them a wish. They leave, but are attacked by Ilya. The two masters team up to fight her, and Rin refuses to listen to Archer's advice, telling him to keep attacking Berserker. He nukes the battlefield to prove a point, and in an attempt to kill both Berserker and Shiro. Chaotic Neutral.
I fixed you because Saber said if you died from a wound Archer dealt you, she'd rather die than form a contract with me.
After Shiro is nearly blown to tiny bits by Archer's nuke, Rin gives Shiro some medical attention. I would say lawful good, but she then immediately threatens to kill him and the next time that they see each other. Also, Rin only does this because Saber refuses to work for her. Neutral.
She gave me a knife earlier, told me to give the old Olympic try at stabbing you. It wasn't a normal knife either. It was coated in some kind of luminescent goo that ate through my locker.
Oh, what did you say?
I told her no.
Later that day, Rin sends an acquaintance of Shiro's to knife him while she and Archer seek out the other servants and masters. It's debatable if she's actually serious about this, because who in their right mind would stab a classmate because a girl just asked him to? But I'm still gonna count it as neutral evil because it's still not quite clear if this Rin is being silly or taking it seriously, or if she, honest to God, thought that another girl would knife her friend.
I see you survived my 38 initial booby traps yesterday. You somehow managed to avoid my 30 additional death traps, which I planted this morning. Either you're a cunning opponent, or there's another Shiro in the school whose class schedule doesn't match up to yours.
69 traps later, nice, Rin gets tired of trying to underhandedly kill Shiro and confronts him directly. She uses her mage powers to attack him, but the fight is interrupted by a dying student, which Rin uses another gem to save this person's life. I'd give her an evil for trying to kill Shiro, but considering the nature of their banter,
Look how weak I am, Shiro! I'm so out of shape, Shiro!
I'm gonna go with chaotic neutral since I don't think she's being serious here, but then a neutral good for saving a stranger's life.
Holy shit!
Whoa, all right, guess this isn't Archer's.
While Rin was saving the stranger, Ryder pops out of the woods and then tries to kill Shiro. Rin interrupts their fight, calling dibs. Ryder respects the dibs and backs down. The two talk things out and agree to a ceasefire. This alliance is mutually beneficial, but Rin does go out of her way to save someone that she keeps insisting is her enemy, and who's also in her way to recruit Saber.
I know what Archer tried to do to you. You think I'm dumb enough not to expect revenge? Do I look dumb to you? Hit me, Nanoid!
Episode 4 happens, and honestly, I've talked about it so much this month that I don't want to go over it again. Watch my other 3 videos if you want details. To make up for her servant trying to kill Shiro, Rin allows him to retaliate. He is totally chill about it, and she gets a lawful good for trying to make up for her actions and wasting a command seal to prevent Archer from ever hurting Shiro again.
Your plan to hide away and use my noble phantasm to attack an obvious building to get me up to bare bones fighting capabilities went off without a hitch.
Seconds later, Ryder activates her noble phantasm to slurpee up all the students, and the two heroes move into action. Shiro burns a command seal to summon Saber, and they begin to fight, but Ryder is then killed by that guy, and the problem is solved. Rin interrogates Shinji and learns nothing, then lets him go, when she really should kill him. Visual novel fans, just go ahead and nod and agree with me on this one, huh? Archer appears after the dust settles and informs them that their drama teacher is Castor's master. Rin apologizes for how she treated Archer, and they plan their next move. Neutral good for helping the students, and chaotic good for letting Shinji go.
Oh, hello, lover. Wait a moment and I'll see to you.
Eyes up, bitch!
At the beginning of episode 6, Rin, Shiro, and Saber all prepare to jump Kazuki at an abandoned gas station. This does not work, and I mean really does not work. During the brawl, Shiro unlocks his
Noble phantasms?
scaring away the assassin and his caster. Killing each other is part of the murder-death-kill game, and they didn't jump him out of malice, and instead they're just trying to get rid of a servant. They also did their due diligence to jump him away from innocent bystanders. I'm actually giving them a lawful neutral on this one.
Kinda ready to be done with today.
Oh, sorry, did I not tell you? I'm living here now.
No, you're not.
So's Archer.
No, he's not.
And I'm sharing a room with Saber
Go on.
and a bed with Saber.
You may stay.
It's cute that you pretended you had permission to give. This is gonna work out.
After fighting Kazuki, Shiro's magic is on the fritz. Archer pays Shiro a visit and heals him. Understanding Shiro and Archer are, for at the moment, on better terms, Rin makes herself at home, casually taking over Shiro's house so that she can get closer to Saber. Nice. Neutral.
That's whatever. I got this. I'll pay for everything. I'll sell my blood if need be.
And it's kinda cold.
Do you need a jacket? I can buy you a jacket. We can sell my house to acquire you a surplus of jackets.
Episode 7 begins with Rin going on a date with Saber and Shiro. Nice. Rin also takes advantage of Shiro's chivalry. She is both ironically and unironically hitting on Saber during this whole time. This date is meant to be a ploy to draw out Caster, and it works. But Caster is holding one of Shiro's teachers as hostage and forces him to trade Saber for her. Shiro gives up control of Saber, and Caster orders her to kill him. Archer shows up and distracts Caster long enough for Rin and Shiro to escape, but not before Saber puts a giant stab wound in Shiro's chest. Returning home, Rin and Archer brainstorm ways to save Saber while Shiro rests upstairs. Lawful neutral for coming up with the date, and neutral good for saving Shiro.
I don't want you to die.
There is a solid 30 feet between us. I can't hear what you're saying.
Because you're stupid and I like you?
After Shiro wakes up, he still demands to save Saber, even with a giant hole in his chest. Rin refuses to let him fight and lets Archer direct her on how to turn him down. Shiro actually gets to her a bit. Rin then confesses her feelings to him, but ultimately refuses to let him fight and get hurt. The series ends with Rin flying off with Archer to take on the rest of the Masters and their servants with a Nat 20 outro song. Lawful good. Tosaka is a really interesting character, and one that I like in anime because despite the fact that she is the love interest, she really is the second main character in Fate Stay Night. She has one of the most personal reasons to fight, she is one of the most knowledgeable, but she also isn't tremendously overpowered, and she isn't given the win in anything that she does. She fights and claws her way to victory just as hard as Shiro does. Not to mention that the series would not happen if she did not use her gem to resurrect Shiro. Her actions really are the inciting incident to the whole series. And man, I do love this show. Even in the original visual novel, on how much she calls out Shiro on his stupid bullshit. A lot of modern abridged shows will try to correct their source material by giving more screen time, dialogue, and even agency to the female characters, but Project Mouthwash didn't really have to do that much in this version. Tosaka was just as important to the story then as she is now, and the prologue, episode 0 in the abridged, is entirely from her point of view. Really, they just turned her no-chill personality up to 11 and just let the actor take their well-written dialogue that just frankly carries the entire show. I'm not dissuading how good the editing, sound mixing, or voice acting is, but when you mix an already amazing character with an amazingly talented group of peoples, it's only natural that you get an amazing tribute to what might be one of my favorite anime characters ever. I really don't have much to say about Rin because I do plan to come back to this in the future when they finish season 2, but until then, go support the setting guide to Redia, thank you to the patrons, and I'll see you all next year.